All right, welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I'm your man, Big Jack. This is where we prove we are stronger together, that if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. And I am super, super excited about one, being on the stage with you today, and then all the things that's going on inside the Iron Sharpening Iron universe. So if you don't know, and if you have not heard and didn't see any of the posts that we've had, we are now on School, School, and I'm just excited about that because it's just allowing us to grow to a whole nother level, and then another platform where we can actually help people develop the skills they need to be able to do shows just like this, where you're now hosting shows or being on shows and doing podcasts, or if you want to produce the shows, all of those different things that it takes to make your content creating come to another level. So I'm excited. We're on School. We'll be putting those links down there in the bios, in the comment sections, and all, so that if you want to be a member and join the community, and it's free, join the community and come on over to School with us, and that's it. That's it. That's all you have to do, and then be engaging. That's the big thing. So, one, thank you for being here and being with us today. Super, super excited about what we have in store for you today. So, not to hold anything up, I'm going to get my man on the stage so we can kick this show off. Oh, there you go. There you go, my man. Walt Talk. What's up, bro?
My man, what's happening, Big Jack? How you doing, sir?
Man, it's all good. It's all good. You know how it is. I'm glad to see you here today.
Glad to be seen, man. Better to be seen than viewed, right? So I'm I'm, a, I'm, a,
That
I'm
is
alive and well. That's a good thing. I'm glad to be seen.
for
Absolutely.
all you people out there that view us. We like to be viewed as well, but we know what we're talking about. We want to be seen.
Oh yeah,
I
yeah,
know what you're talking about. Now, look, I'm
absolutely.
trying to figure out what's going on with this name now. It says Walt Talks,
Oh
aka.
man, so uh, my name is Walt, and I'm a rookie. Let's start with that.
Okay, all
So
right.
hey man, I was on live with B the other day, and now that I have all this access to the behind the scenes action that I've asked you not to put me in,
Oh man.
uh, I went to get on. I got on live with her, and I went to take myself off, and I ended the whole show. It
Oh
was a
wow.
mic. It was a yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, it was a mic drop moment, and and hey man, I've been telling you, hey man, I don't play around backstage because there's a lot of action going on back there, man. So
Mm.
yeah, that's what happened. So I just say, hey, don't hit the red button. And sometimes, man, you just got to come clean about your mistakes, and that's what it is. So
All right.
anyone watching uh B the other day, was Saturday afternoon when she did the she doubled back on the show about the firefighter that wrote a letter, man. So he
Mm.
had a positive outcome. That was great, man. We had a great conversation, and I'm pretty much ended the show right after that. So
Oh wow.
whether she was ready, whether she was ready or not, I hit the red button, man. And as soon as I hit it, it's like no, but
Yeah, it's
it
all good.
was too late, man. So yeah, that's where don't hit the red button came from. So that's for B.
Okay,
That's for B and all of her listeners.
I got you.
It was not her fault. I take
Yeah.
full responsibility for that, and that's what it is. So
It's all right. Like
yeah.
we're still human, and like I say, behind the scenes is a lot of buttons and all that you can push.
Oh man, yeah,
You won't be, you're not the first person to do it, and you won't be the last person to do it. So, but
yeah.
hey, but I see you say don't hit the red button. So I'm gonna ask you this for the show today.
Talk to
Well,
me.
don't hit the red button.
Hey, don't you worry about a thing, bro. I
Right.
will not hit the red button, and because, like you said, I wasn't the first. I won't be the last, but I do not want to be the next.
Don't
So
be the
there it
next. There you go.
is.
All right.
So
So
there it
look,
is. Yeah.
we got a wonderful show today. We got
Yes,
a
we do.
returner coming. First time to
Yes,
the Iron Sharpening Iron show.
yes.
She's not the first time to the universe. So I want to get her up on the stage because she did
Let's
such a
do it.
wonderful job the first time that I know, it's so nice we got to bring her on twice. So let's get her up here. So
Let's do it again.
hit that button and
Absolutely.
get her up on the stage. You ready?
Do it.
Let's
Let's
do
bring
it.
on. Let's
There she is, Miss Melanie. How you
Hey,
doing?
Melanie,
Hello, hello.
how you
Hey
doing?
guys,
All
I'm doing
right, all right.
fantastic.
That's great. Now,
Yes,
welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. Of course, I'm Big Jack. That's my man, Walt Talks. And welcome back to the
The
universe.
universe.
yes,
Yeah.
First time
absolutely.
being on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. But this is not your first time being in the universe because you was on the Coach's Corner just a few weeks ago
Yes,
with
yes.
Mama
Was.
Lion. So for those who watched the Coach's Corner, was able to see you then. You're back, and like I say, you did so nice. I want to have you on twice, so we got you back up
Love it.
here. So
I
welcome.
Yes,
appreciate that.
absolutely. Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you, thank you for coming back.
yeah, yeah. That
Absolutely.
means a lot to us. I mean, we might have did
Yes,
something right if
might
she
have done
came
something right. That's a
back.
good sign.
Like, heck
That's a
no.
great sign, Melanie.
No,
That's a
it's a lot of fun. I mean, hey, your universe is great. So hey, I don't mind being in it.
Well, I appreciate that. We
yeah,
appreciate that for sure.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so, so for those who didn't get a chance to see you when you was on the Coach's Corner, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Absolutely. So I am Positively Melanie. My name is Melanie, and I am a positive living facilitator. So everything that I do, my whole Meliverse, my universe, is all about helping women to reconnect with what lights them up so that they can a joyful life, right? And a positive one. And most people, whether they know it or not, they either lean positive or they lean negative. I'm not saying one is right or one is wrong. I'm just saying that's the way it is. Think about your mindset. And when things happen, let me give an example. Sitting in traffic and I'm irritated because I know I'm going to be late, right? People who lean negative automatically, oh my God, it's traffic. I'm always, then they start the negative talk in their head about how things always happen to them. And then, again, starting with something's wrong with them. Whereas someone who leans positive, yeah, they're still irritated and upset that they're in traffic, but their energy is not one that brings them to that negative place. Their energy is more like, oh my God, okay, I'm gonna be late. I'm gonna have to make up an excuse or whatever, or and just say, hey, well, at least now I can listen to my podcast. I can listen to Ironing, Sharpening, and Ironing, right, while
There
I'm
you
waiting
go.
in traffic. So all I'm saying is that there's no right or wrong. It's just how we orientate ourselves to the world and, how our mind works and how we really orientate ourselves into the world. So for me, I lean positive and I want to show other people how to, again, connect and tap into what lights them up to align their life and so that they can live a life of joy.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, thank you again for introducing yourself on that, and I love the positive spirit, 100%. But you made a comment.
100%.
I want to question. Now I have a question. You said
Yeah.
you reach out to women, so you're telling me men are always positive. We don't have any problems, so we don't need their help.
No, okay, I knew you were going to bring that up. Okay, it's not
Discrimination,
you.
Jack.
You
It's
all
straight
need,
discrimination.
no, you all need this too. But there are plenty of men, your brothers, who can help you. Like, it's not that I can't help men. It's just that I really focus on women because I'm a woman, and I typically focus on women in midlife because I'm a woman in midlife. That doesn't mean if what I do or say or what I write speaks to a woman who's in her 20s or 30s, I'm going to say, you know what? Don't contact me because you're the same with men as well. It's just I tend to work more with women because I am a woman. But yes, absolutely, men need this too. I mean, we all do. I mean, even
We
people
all
who
do.
lean positive, there are a lot of things that we have to do. This is a daily practice that you have to do in living intentional. So I have 3 pillars that I always teach, right? It's intentional living, positive mindset, and joyful self-expression. That does not mean that, people who are positive people, they don't have hardships, heartaches, they don't go through things. It's not about that. It's about leaning into those feelings, acknowledging them, and then moving through them. And there's tools and exercises and things that you can do to do that. But really, yes, everybody needs it, and we continually need it. So yeah.
No, that's good. Now that is good. So now you being I would say a coach in a sense, you're coaching me how to stay positive. If I was a woman, if I now, and I'm just saying, but
I feel bad now because you're like, okay, see, if I was a woman, I mean,
You know, Beyonce said if I was a man, so I'm gonna say if I was a woman.
Oh man. Hey
But
man, I can't unsee that, Jack. Please stop.
don't see that. Don't see that. But with that being said, do you have a coach? Do you have someone that coached you to get you to this point, or was it something that you just picked up on your own?
Always. I mean, honestly, we all have coaches, right? I mean, coaches need coaches, but your coach could be your mom, your sister, your, teacher. I mean, there's so many people throughout my life that I consider coaches for me, guides for me, mentors for me. And I will say my work is really in helping women who are overachievers. These are usually women who are high up in corporate, women who are running a business, women who are single moms juggling multiple things, right? And the things that I try to teach will help women to turn that hustle into harmony, right? That burnout into balance. I mean, I like to say alignment over balance, but, turn that, doing into alignment. And a lot of that has to do with being aware of what's draining your energy, right? And the things that you don't need to be putting focus on that's not filling your cup back up. Do you know what I mean? So we all are going to be busy, but usually women who are high achieving like that or juggling multiple things, because women by nature are nurturers and we're givers, we a lot of times give, and we don't give to ourselves. And so we end up burning out, right? We end up, we just end up depleted. And usually when we get to the point in our life, when we are midlife, we're 40 plus, we've done all the things, right? We've climbed the corporate ladder. We've raised our children. We've given to our communities, our churches. We've done. And then we sit back and we're like, well, I should be happy, but something's missed. There's always that but ... right? It's like I've made it, but ... And I'm also not saying, a little side note for you gentlemen, I'm not saying that men don't go through this as well. I'm just saying as women, we give. And then we get to a point where we start doing self-reflection because something is missing. And a lot of times what's missing is we're trying to figure ourselves, like we're trying to reconnect back with ourselves. It's like, who am I? What lights me up? What makes me happy? Because you know what, even though I'm the senior VP of blah, 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 I'm still not satisfied. Something is missing, right? And so, or even though my kids are, in college or gone or grown, something in me is whispering back to how can I get back to myself? And so that's why a lot of times when we get this age, we start going into the whole self-reflection, self-help, we start listening to podcasts, reading up on stuff, joining things and trying to rediscover, who we are. And as we're leaning into this midlife, and I like to say leaning into your becoming, a lot of times you're in a spot where now I have less time ahead of me than behind me. How do I really want to live it? I want to live it joyfully. I want to live it on my terms, right? I've given. Now, what about me? Right. And so that's why a lot of transition happens during this time. People leave their jobs and start something else, right? A lot of times people might even leave a relationship because they're like, you know what, I need to figure stuff out for me. And so, yeah, that's where all this kind of comes into, is for those women who are doing and get to a point where some of them just burn out. I mean, I have friends personally who, again, high corporate, and they just burn out. They're like, I'm done. I can't do it anymore. Right. And so then they look into, I need to take some time off, or I want to start working for myself and taking all of the expertise and knowledge that I've been giving to company after company after company and helping individuals on my own, right? And doing it my way. And so, yeah. And so that's where, my coaching, my writing, my programs help those women to that alignment.
Okay. All right. Well, It's I mean, I know with again, and we're not talking that men doesn't need it, and I know women need it because we all do. And it
Yeah.
is
Pretty
important
sure.
that we have someone to talk to, and that's good that you're even
Mhm.
doing that. And I want to
Yeah.
take a quick pause just to recognize we have Patty in the chat, and she's one of the new members who actually joined because we're monetized now, and she actually paid some
Awesome.
subscription. So thank you, Patty, for being
Thank you,
out there,
Patty.
part of us. So I just wanted to make sure we recognize her because she put
Thank you,
more
Patty.
effort in. But at the same time, so it's when you hear it positively, Melanie, and now 100%. So everything is positive. Was there a time when it wasn't so positive? Did you have to grow into the positive? Did you have any moments where it was like, I'm sick and tired because it's my mom. She's in the chat, but she say, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And then she just stopped
Yes.
being sick and tired. So did you have that sick and tired moment?
No. And let me
No.
explain, because
Okay.
there's a difference. What I'm talking about is not toxic positivity. And I think that's the thing, that because I preach and I, try to show individuals, women in particular, how to live a positive life, does not mean you just slap on a smile and act like everything's okay when everything isn't, right? That is actually harmful for you, because you're
Yeah.
not addressing your feelings. And again, leaning into them, acknowledging them, and doing what's necessary to work through them, right, to solve the problem. And that's kind of where, for you gentlemen, I feel for you, because you guys are very good at compartmentalizing, which really helps in business and professionally, because everything could be crumbling at home, right? It could be chaos at home. But guess what? As soon as you get into that office, you are on, right? And you got it going on because you compartmentalize. But the problem is when you do that and you push things into, compartments, or push it down, and you put enough of those explosive in a tight little, closet, it's going to explode. And that's why people have heart attacks and all kinds of things. You're thinking, okay, this person is really successful. He's this, he's that, he's the other. And then he has a stroke or a heart attack. Yeah, because he is not letting his loved ones know, I'm extremely stressed at work. You know what I'm saying? Or I need to talk to somebody, even if it's my buddy, I need to let them know things are going on. And so it's the same thing, getting back to your question about the positivity. And have I ever been like, I don't want to be positive anymore? I always want to be positive. But of course, I've gone through problems and drama and whatever. I think the worst time of my life was when I got divorced with my first husband, because I had preteen children. You know what I'm saying? Where again, that was a time where, my son really needed his dad. I mean, his dad was there, but now the home was broken, right? My daughter needed her father. They needed me to show up a certain way. And it was very difficult to slap on that smile and say, hey, everything's okay. In fact, no, I had to let people know everything's not okay and I need help. And that's where my tribe came and circled around me and supported me. And the positivity in that was that I acknowledged those feelings. I acknowledged I need help and I need you. And I had my people show up for me, right? I had my tribe show up for me and say, hey, I'm here for you. I'll take the children. I'm here for you. I'll come over and cook for you. I'm here for you. You can cry on my shoulder. I'm here for you. I've got some help. I know a good lawyer, whatever. Right. And the positivity was still that, but I still deep down inside know that I'm worth something. I value myself. I love myself. And even though something bad has happened, I'm not bad. Right. And I think that again, it's a mindset. It's how you orientate and show up in the world, your energy. Right. And so for me, the positivity has to start with the self-love. I have a girlfriend who is actually a self-love advocate. And, I was with her yesterday and she was talking about, self-love and what that means. And she kind of touched on giving to people and letting your energy get sucked out by, other people. But it does come back to, you can't be positive and you can't have a joyful life if you don't have self-love, because it starts there, right? And then it kind of builds, so for me, when you are in pain and when you are going through things, you always have to get back to you. right? And understanding that you are worthy, you are valuable. And with that, you're able to attract the people who typically are your tribe, the people who are there for you. And a lot of times there's people who are like, well, you know, I don't have family, I don't have really good friends, but there's always someone, your church, your community, your coach, you know what I'm saying? If you're, you know, if you're in sports, you know, your teachers, there's always someone. And honestly, I do believe in energy. So again, if you are always kind and giving in how you show up in the world, you will get that back, even from strangers. So again, you know, is more about not letting that light inside you go out. It may dim, because trust me, when I was going through my divorce, oh yeah, it was dim. It was not bright and shiny like it is today, but it didn't go out.
No.
You know, so hopefully
No.
that answered your question. Like, yes,
No,
you know, me
no.
being I always want to stay positive, but that does not mean that I don't go through trials, tribulations, and hard times. It's just
Right.
how
No,
I choose to respond, you know?
oh, and you definitely answered my question. I appreciate it. So I'm gonna I don't say throw back on you, but the fact that you made a comment about, you know, men putting out things in departments, or basically
Yes, yeah,
departmentalized.
compartmentalize. You guys are really good at that.
Yeah, but see, here's the thing: a lot of men, because we are, and I'm gonna throw this out there, and Walt, you here, and Melanie, you can tell me because you're more expertise on this. We, as a man, and my type of jobs, it wasn't always in corporate America in that sense where I was in an office or whatever. But the type of work that I did, you didn't take it home. It was like it was my protection mode for my family was not to take my work
Got you.
home, because you really, as Jack Nicholson said in A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. If I told you what I went through today, if I told you what I saw today, if I told you what happened today, then you will be stressed all day every time I went to work. Because if you knew what I had to face every time I went into something, you know, it's just not something. It's just, so let me come home and act like everything's great, even though you know it's not.
But I'm
And
gonna
then
let you know, as a woman, we
yeah,
already know. We're already gonna be stressed because we know if you're a cop, if you're a firefighter, if you're somebody out there risking your life every day to help others, we already know deep down inside we're women. We know already how dangerous it is, and we're already stressed and hoping and praying and please let him come home. What we want is for you to feel like it's safe to say, today was a really bad day. It was
yeah,
really awful for me today.
yeah,
And you know, for us to be that safe space for you to be able to let that out, because if you can't and you keep pushing it down, you
yeah,
know, it will come out in very toxic ways. Heart attacks, it's gonna come out in a health way, right?
oh,
In a
straight,
negative way.
100%
I'll
straight.
say, when I was younger, I really admired men for that, because I'm like, man, I wish I didn't have to, you know, again, I'm going through a divorce. I wish that I could like turn it on as soon as I got to the office, where I'm on point and I'm not like in the bathroom crying and trying to like, okay, I missed certain things. You know, I wasn't on point with being detail oriented like I should, because I couldn't compartmentalize that. But I realized as I got older that that's really not healthy. And that's not a really good thing to do, but that's something that societally we teach our young men, our boys. I mean, I have a son. We teach our young men, you know, just suck it up and keep moving, you know, or like you said, we need to protect our loved ones, our women and our children, by not knowing all the ick that I have to deal with out here, you know. So I come home and I, again, slap on the smile or slap on everything's fine, everything's okay. But that is what causes a lot of emotional and physical, you know, unwellness, right? Or health problems, right? When you have to deal with that on your own, and understand that as women, we want our men to feel safe with us. You know, it is okay for you guys to tell us, I'm not doing good. And it's okay. I mean, you should have a relationship like that with your woman where you can do those things. And we want that. So
I'll respect that 100%. And I see Walt's over there, would say smiling, so that means he got
No, so
something.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with anything you say. So just let me just kind of go to the other side of this on some of these things. For instance, I think women compartmentalize very well too. The difference is, like you say, men don't get to come home. Out as a man, I'm not going to come home and burden my family with this thing, right? But
Mhm.
women can compartmentalize at work because the attitude that you take to work is not always the attitude you bring home.
Mm.
If I were to bring the attitude home that I really wanted to bring, I'd be abusive, so to speak. So, when you talk about uh, being happy within, being happy from within, you
Mhm.
can you. I think accountability plays a
Oh,
big part in
absolutely.
that.
Oh,
But I
absolutely.
think, but
That's
I
a
think
huge part of it.
also, sometimes if or I'm going to say men, you want to be there, you want to be there for, and I'm talking generalities here. Let's be clear about that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But if a man tries to say, you could be part of the problem, and if a woman doesn't take accountability for that, that takes on a whole nother turn, right? But when you're
Oh,
talking about
well,
people trying to
I agree with
do
you.
it,
I
uh-huh,
do agree with you 100%. But
mm-hmm.
this would be a whole nother show if
It'd
we
be a whole
talk
nother
about
show,
like
and
the
that's what I'm saying.
dynamics
I'm talking
between, right?
generalities. I'm
Because
talking
you're
generalities,
absolutely
right?
right.
Right.
I'm
And I'm
saying I'm just speaking from someone who, if you have a healthy relationship, let's just
there you go.
clarify that first.
There you
If
go.
you have a healthy relationship,
Okay.
That part.
then your woman is going to want you to be able to
100%.
open up to her, and she will take accountability if some of the stress that you are feeling is coming from her. The same way that you, as the man in a healthy relationship, will be
Absolutely.
able to be talked to, as you know what I'm saying. So yes,
100%.
let's clarify.
Right.
What I'm saying and what I'm projecting out is for healthy
Oh,
relationships, and there are
I
a
get that
lot of
100%. I get, but
that are
I
not
just
in
wanted
healthy
to,
relationships.
no. I just wanted to clarify that because what happens
Oh
is
yeah, yeah,
when,
absolutely.
people are all over the place to watch this show, right?
Mhm.
But,
Yeah, yeah.
but I'll use an example. I'll use an example. And this
Okay.
is kind of, this is the expression, happy wife, happy life.
Happy life. Yes.
My answer to that is I don't negotiate with terrorists. And because to me, that just sounds selfish. Because I know it's a joke, I know it's a catchphrase, I know it's a tagline, I know, but if you really think about it, if you as a man, if you really think about what does that mean, and you dissect this, because I'm a context person, happy life, happy
Mm-hmm.
wife. When you dissect that, when you get down into the weeds of that, it's basically as long as you're okay, everybody else will be okay. But if you're not okay, everybody else is going to be miserable around here. Because if mama's not happy, nobody's happy. Let's be clear about it. This is nothing new. This is not the
Right.
generation X. This is back to the old days, right?
Right.
I mean, that's just the way society, that's just the way we've been programmed as a society. So that's why I always say I don't negotiate with terrorists. And I love to say that because I always get a laugh. But then we have this conversation, which a lot of people don't think, because if a person, a man, is compartmentalizing something, and I'll just say anyone is compartmentalizing something, right? And
Mm-hmm.
even your kids, happy wife, happy mom, happy like whatever, if mom's not happy,
Mm-hmm.
nobody's happy. Even your kids,
Yeah.
everybody is basically trying to stay out of your way, like you're a terrorist. Like you're gonna blow the place up if we don't, so if we don't fall in the line. And I know I'm talking generalities, but I'm saying just little things like that during a time period when someone is not really, really, really in a good space, you know, male or female, those kind of things kind of linger. And that's why accountability to me always plays, because if you're not going to be honest, and this is either side of the fence, you got to at least be
Well, yeah.
honest about your intentions. And most times people are not honest about their intentions, and that's where they get to. And then as far as trying to save the day, every work assignment I've had, and I was a firefighter, but every work assignment I've had in my locker, when I was on day work or desk duty at my desk, the indispensable man. Have you heard that poem before?
No.
The indispensable.
I
So
have.
real quick. You have some
Yeah.
time when you're feeling important, some time when your ego is in bloom, some time when you take it for granted. You're the most qualified in the room. Some time when you think that you're leaving will leave an unfillable hole. Just follow these simple instructions and see how they humble your soul. Take a bucket and fill it with water. Put your hand in it down to your wrist. Pull it out, and the hole that's remaining is a measure of how you be missed. You may splash all you want when you enter. You may stir up the water galore, but just stop. You'll see in a moment it looks quite the same as before. Now, the moral of this quaint little story is to do the best you can. Be proud of yourself, but remember, there's no indispensable man or woman. And if you keep that mindset, because you're not going to save the day, let's be clear about that. And that's
Oh
why, like
yeah.
coming from my line of work, I always kind of laugh when people say you just don't understand the pressure. I'm like, pressure, like the building's not on fire, nobody's throwing a baby out the window. I mean, like you got time. And because it's urgent doesn't make it, because it's important doesn't make it urgent, right? So it's like we kind of put undue pressure on ourselves by trying to like, and the more we do, guess what? And you know this, Melanie, because I know you coach this, the more people will expect
Yeah.
you to do. Am I right or wrong?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
if you're not accountable to yourself and have some boundaries, speak to this, please. Because I could be totally off on this. If you're not accountable to yourself, and have boundaries, people are just going to continue to take advantage of it, and then you'll blame the world for taking advantage of you instead of standing up for yourself. Speak to that
Right.
for
Well,
me,
and that
please.
gets back to that's the self-love. And actually that was a
Mhm.
beautiful poem that you read.
Thank
That gets right into how I look at positivity. The same
There
way
you
that
go.
you just said, like,
There you go.
again, at the end of the day,
There it is.
positivity does not mean that everything's wonderful because it's never going to
Right.
be. And you are
Right.
never going to find balance. Like I try to explain to people, I talk about balance because that's where
Hmm.
people are. I have to meet them where they are. And so it's easy for me to explain to people, from going from burnout to balance. They
Hmm.
understand what that means. But really
Right.
for me, balance is something that you manage. I'm trying to make equal this time, or I'm trying to make equal, these
Right.
facets in my life. And it's a management type thing, and it's not being. Whereas alignment is I'm being, right?
Right.
That means, and I typically talk about the 8 dimensions of wellness. So
Hmm.
this comes from a mental health world, but I kind of
Hmm.
remixed it. So I just do it in simple terms where it's, your mind, your heart, your body, your soul, your space. So instead of environmental wellness, it's your space.
Hmm.
Instead of
Hmm.
occupational wellness, it's your calling. Instead of financial wellness, it's the flow, right? And so all of
Right.
those dimensions, there are going to be times where, depending on the season, right? Maybe in your 20s, your flow isn't flowing the way you want, but guess what?
Right.
Your circle is doing really well because you are very social. But guess
Right.
what? That circle is going to help you with your flow. So time will,
Right.
you know what I mean? So again, there's going to be
Absolutely.
times where everything is not going to be balanced. But if you're in alignment, you're okay with the fact that I'm
Right.
not
With
where
the
I want
fact
to
that
be financially.
right.
And let me get aware that, you know what, I'm not where I want to be. And what are the steps that I need to get to where I want to be financially? But I'm okay, right? I'm not trying to, I got to balance it. Oh my God, it's not where it needs to be, because that's where you get stressed, right? And a lot of us are just doing, and we're not being. And that's
I,
where you talk
I
about the
agree.
busyness comes in. That's
Yeah.
where the stress comes in. That's where
Yes.
literally you're like a hamster going around in a wheel, round and round and round and round, because you're busy, but you're not
Yes.
accomplishing anything because you're not
Yeah.
I,
being,
I think we put a
right?
lot of emphasis. I think we as a society, and I mean, I learned this early because clearly my life is more than what they were paying me. But
Mhm.
money is a tool, and
Oh,
money,
absolutely.
and to me, this is just my opinion. Money basically enhances your personality and who you really are. So, and I
Mhm.
think Bill Cosby had a joke back in the day, and he said, "Man, money, makes it grows your personality." And Bill Cosby said, well, "What if you are ASS?" The rest of it, and
Mhm.
which to use Bill Cosby, old Bill Cosby, but that just made sense to me because if you are a good person I think money will allow you to help people. If you are a bad person, you may use that money to hurt people. I think that if money or success, whatever that is, or winning or whatever defines you as an individual, I think you'll always be chasing your tail, because once that thing is gone, and we'll go with, we're all, I'm in my 60s, and I know you guys are probably behind me, I'm sure. And eventually beauty, looks, health, everything fades, but who you are, your character, that's pretty solid. Right now, if I talk to one of your friends and I said something about you that's totally not true, they will say, no, we can't be talking about the same Melanie, because if you get around your high school friends for a reunion, you'd be in the same position pretty much that you were then, because that's just how we are. I think people put too much emphasis on money and success, and because of what other people think that represents. Even when somebody, back to cutting you off in traffic, it's not about them cutting you off in traffic. It's what you think that means.
Oh, right. Well, that's what I'm saying, leaning positive or negative. And to touch on your point about money, that's why I call it flow.
And that's why I like that word, because it's flow.
Right. What I teach is more about abundance, because again, money, like you said, is just a tool. It's a thing. It is energy. To me, I say it as opposed to a thing. I call it energy. And I talk to my clients. I ask them, what's your because really you have to look at what is your relationship to money. You know what I'm saying? How do you speak about money? How do you talk to money? This is an energy, right? You need to treat money like it's your friend. So how do you talk to your friend, right? Do you give thanks and gratitude to your friend? Because guess what, money? I'm so happy and grateful that you are giving me the opportunity to feed my family. Not, man, you're still not doing enough for me. I know that, I'm not grateful for what you do for me, because I'm greedy and I want more, right? You don't talk to your friend like that. So how would you talk to money? And so if that's the energy that you're putting out there, you're not going to get abundance back. In fact, you hit it on the head. I talk about this all the time, about money should be a tool for you to do more for others. So the more money that I make should give me and allow me to do more for others, right? And you can't live in abundance if you're not being abundant yourself in how you give. And it doesn't mean you have to give your money. It could be meaning you give your time, you give your love, because it's energy. So it's all energetic, right? And so that's why it's called the flow. The same way with your job and the calling. There are a lot of people who are working jobs they don't like. They just don't. But it's a way for them. So I look at it this way, but it's still, you're giving service, right? To somebody, something you are providing, right? What you do. And you have to look at it that way. If you're not really happy with your job, but it does, provide you this money, this energy, so that you can then do things that you love, right? Your calling is more than just your job. So even though we talk about, that's why I wanted to change it, mental health, they look at it as your occupational wellness, like how well you are at your job. Are you being treated well at your job? Are you, that kind of thing? I look at it more as your calling. So maybe what you do for a living is providing you, again, the means by which you do your calling. Right? Maybe your calling is, you know what I'm saying? Like I help children read, or whatever you do that lights you up. And that's what I talk to my women about when I talk about joyful self-expression. And this is not just a woman thing, it's an everybody thing. Every single human being knows what lights them up. If you don't know what lights you up, I just have to ask you some questions. You'll be like, oh yeah, that does light me up. But the thing that makes you feel joyful, you don't have to get paid for it. You just love doing it. It could be anything. It could be fixing cars. It could be golfing. It could be, helping out at church. It could be, doodling in your, on paper. It could be working in your garden. It could be cooking. There are people who are like, I love to cook, because when people eat my food, I see the joy, the love, and that lights them up. You can tell it lights them up. They are expressing themselves joyfully when they cook for those that they love, right? Someone who is I love fixing things and I love making things, right? I love it. So when, I'm like, because my husband is that way. And so when I'm like, oh, something's wrong with the such and such, I'll fix it. I mean, he lights up.
Yeah, I got it.
He wants to fix it, not because some men are like, you know what, I'm gonna call somebody to fix it. That don't light me up. You know what I'm saying? Well, lights me up playing basketball or whatever, but that lights him up. And because it lights him up, then he does it well, and then he starts doing others. So he loves woodworking, that lights him up. So every single human being has things that light them up. It's just a matter of tapping into what that is. The more you do that, the healthier you're going to be mentally, emotionally, spiritually. It's all connected, right? It's a whole overall wellness, right? Which is why those dimensions, it's important to acknowledge what they are and realize, where are you? It's an awareness thing of where are you in each of these facets of your life, and how can you improve those that aren't that great or you're not aligned, and the ones that you are, continue, lean into that and keep doing what you're doing, right? But it gets into those three pillars: intentionality, mindset, and expression, right? So I say, intentional living, but it's really your intention. You're being intentional, with the things you do and say. And you touched on it, Walt. It's like, it's a mindset,
yes,
I'm not going to let people, I'm going to put up boundaries, because I'm not going to let people just suck the energy out. And if I do, I have to be held accountable. I can't be mad at my children, at my husband, at my boss, at my friends who are sucking, because I'm saying yes to everything. I need to be mad at me. I'm upset and I'm snapping on folks because I'm stressed to the nines, but I should tell my son, you know what? I can't do that today. I can't give you extra money. You need to go out and get a job. You know what I'm saying? Or I can't go here or there. I can't do whatever you want me to do because I don't have time. Or you bargain with them and say, okay, if I'm going to do this for you, what are you going to do for me so I can get my time back or whatever? But the thing is, you hit it on the head as far as boundaries. But again, that gets back to what do we talk about in the very beginning?
At the very beginning. And that's why I brought that up to say this. And this is what you do for a living. So you said you can ask people a few questions, you can get the answers that you need. But here's the thing. And so to the rest of the world who's not professional, not trained at this, because you clearly are, it's trial and error for most of us. When you have a person who lives their life and life is a zero-sum game to them, it's like, it's hard to convince that person. They want to come to you and they're looking for this magic bullet. They're looking for this magic pill that they can take and just be happy, instead of looking inside of themselves. I mean, you already have what you need. You just need to use it differently. And you are trained to get people to think that. And I tell you, when people come to that understanding, I'm sure you probably just light up inside, because
I do.
They finally
I do, because it's an aha moment. But let me get back to what you said. I have a personal situation. People who know me know that I have someone in my family who, again, I can't help them unless they want to help themselves. So when you talk about the zero-sum game, yes, I have been trained to be a life coach. Yes, I went through training. Yes, I have certification, things like that. I can't help someone who is not ready to be helped because they don't want to help themselves. I can't. And that's not just me. That's a therapist, a psychologist, and I have I'm nowhere near trained like they are, right? But even them, they will not be able to help someone who is not ready to be helped.
Yes.
Right. I mean, because that's where the accountability comes in. That's where when people talk about, oh, it's hard work. Soul work is hard. And the reason why it's hard is because we have to look in the mirror. We have to become fully aware of the good and the bad.
Yes.
We have to acknowledge, right, that there are changes that have to be made. We have to hold ourselves accountable for doing the things that are necessary, which first are little mind shifts, micro shifts in your thinking that then will go into the behaviors that contribute to whatever, toxic behavior or, stagnation or whatever's going on in your life that keeps you in a place where you can't be joyful, right? So, or whatever it is, staying in bad relationships, staying, all that kind of stuff. But again, it gets into really the soul work that has to be done. And that needs to come from the individual. There is no person on earth that is qualified or that can change somebody, help somebody in that way. They have to want to do it. And so that's why there's a lot of people who, admire people who are going through hard times, like someone who's a drug addict, and they're talking to somebody who's gone through it and they're on the other side. The reason why they have more credibility is because they can honestly talk to them about how hard the work is and what is necessary, right? It's harder for someone to listen to somebody who, yes, I might have gone to school and whatever, but I haven't really been through the trenches. Because a lot of people who've been through the trenches, they don't get out of the trenches because of exactly what we're talking about, is that we can lead the horse to water, but we can't make it drink. So that's the hard part. So for every 10 people who start doing soul work, maybe 1 or 2 actually get to the other side. Do you know what I mean? So the 1 or 2 that gets to the other side, those are the people you talk to.
I got more time. I got you.
Okay.
Y'all. No, this is good. Now, here we go. What if the horse doesn't know it's thirsty? What if the person doesn't know it's an addict? What if the person doesn't know they need help or that they have a problem? How do we get to that point? I don't know to ask the question. I don't even know I need the help because I don't know. I don't know what I don't. I'm getting the
well, that's what I'm saying. So you may not know okay, so here's the thing. You may not know the symptom of why you feel the way you feel. And that's why when I talk about alignment and living in alignment with those dimensions, right? Because all of those, they'll hit on there. There's no way that you can be a drug addict and you are aligned, mentally, socially, emotionally, you know what I'm saying? Like you're just not going to be. There's going to be signs that are showing. And yes, as the individual, you may use defense mechanisms by saying it's other people, right? Of why, like, I don't have a problem, or I'm doing this because of you. And that's a whole nother, I mean, there's people who are narcissists.
The functioning.
Yeah. I mean, that, and I'm nowhere near qualified to talk about that. That's therapy and stuff, that's, people going from, dysfunction to function. And I don't work with people like that. I work with people who are high functioning, but you're absolutely right. There are a lot of people who are probably walking around not knowing how their words, their actions, their behaviors are negatively affecting the people around them and the people who they say they love. Because they have not done the reflection, that their self-reflection in the mirror themselves. They just know that they're not happy and they're blaming everybody else because they've got a lot of work to do. And honestly, that is a really hard thing. If there's someone that you love or someone that you know really closely and they don't know how much they're hurting the people that are around them. But I agree with Walt. They know that things are not. Right. There's no way that you can walk around.
The easiest way to prove that. The easiest way. Just put yourself in somebody else's shoes. If you ask yourself, would you tolerate from a person what you are giving to them? If the answer is no, you know you're doing the wrong thing. You already know it. And if somebody calls you out on your mess, and we all have been there, just because you are benefiting and it doesn't adversely affect you at the time, what you are enjoying is privilege. You're not enjoying fairness, because the only way to be fair is if I cut the cake, you choose the slice, right? But if you cut the cake, choose the biggest slice, or cut the biggest slice for yourself and take the biggest slice, and I don't like that, and that's what I'm doing, then that's what it is. I mean, people know, they know. It's like almost like back to the old adage, if you got to ask, you already know. I mean, come on now, we know. And look, we've all done wrong. Lord knows I'm 61, be 62 at the end of the month in spite of myself. I have never, ever I ain't gonna say ever, but early in life, I realized, okay, I'm hoping I get away with this, whatever I'm doing wrong, saying wrong. I'm hoping I get away with it, but I'm not going to sit here and fool myself and act like I'm doing the right thing. And that's why
Right.
I'm so hard on
Right.
myself and that's why I need context, because when it comes back on me, I'm like, man, I knew I should. I mean, it's almost like I kind of laugh about it. I'm almost kind of happy that it doubled back and
Mhm.
caught me and got me, because
Mhm.
knowing, if you are self aware and knowing that, you'll beat yourself up harder than anything else. And so with you, you know, positively, Melanie, I mean, like you say, if somebody comes to you, you probably turn away more people than you help. And sometimes it's no, not right now. Sometimes you telling the person that you're not ready to accept this challenge, it might
Mhm.
be enough to get themselves together,
Right.
and then like you said, we all have our mess. If you think that you don't have a mess to deal with, that's your mess right there. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
just admire people like you, because it's like, you don't, what you do is coach, but you don't come off like, I'm a life coach and I have it all together and I do these things and I save people. That's not what you do. And I'm telling you, it shows.
Mhm.
Your energy shows that. I mean, there's some people that don't in your profession, that don't carry it that way.
Right.
Even
Yeah.
with all the training. So I respect
Right.
you for the way your energy, the way you, because the best advertisement for what you do is how you project yourself, or your energy is just not like, let me fix your life in 30 minutes and
Well, and that's like
39 minutes and
that's
4 commercials.
honestly,
Yeah.
that's a high compliment. And
Thank you. It
I'm
was
very
meant to be.
grateful
So
that
I'm
you
glad
said
you
that.
took it
And
that way.
I appreciate that, because that's one of the reasons why I call myself a facilitator.
There you go.
Yes, I do have coaching sessions, but
Hmm.
really I live the life. So
Right.
everything that I do, I'm facilitating it, right? So
Yes,
I
that's great.
write, right? So I
Yeah.
have a newsletter, like I write things about
Hmm.
positivity, and not just that, but intentional living and mindset and things
Yes.
like that. And
Yes.
I write that kind of stuff. I
Hmm.
create, tools and
Hmm.
products that help people with, you know, changing their mindset and
Yes.
and really holding themselves accountable. So I have guided
Okay.
journals, and they're guided because I give prompts in them. So the questions,
Mm.
because again, like you're saying, Big Jack, what if you don't know? Sometimes it's a matter of, again, just asking a question. And when you
Mm.
answer it, you're like, man, I think that way, or I do, you know what I'm saying? Then
Yeah.
then the
Yeah.
awareness, because a lot of times it's about just being aware. And once you're aware, then it's about holding yourself accountable to do the things necessary so that you can become a better version of yourself, right? Because we
Yeah.
all should constantly be wanting to do that, right? I mean, the world, this life is a classroom, and we're constantly learning, and we should be constantly trying to evolve. No one knows it all. And in fact, the more you
Right.
know, the more you know that you don't know, and the
No,
more you have to
absolutely.
unlearn, because we have
That's
been
right.
trained throughout our lives things that we need to start unlearning as we get older and we live life. And we can all talk to that. And again, that's why when we're in midlife, and for women in midlife, there's a lot of unlearning that has to happen so that we
Yeah.
can tap back into who we truly are and what truly lights us up, so that we can start living intentionally, more positively, and joyfully expressing ourselves, right? And being overall well-being, happy, right? So
Yeah. I've been in situations where I didn't like someone and don't even know them, but their energy just didn't. And my people would say to me, I said, man, I got to have a conversation with this guy. And they're like, why
yeah,
would you just said you don't like the guy? I said, and that's why I need to have a conversation with him, because
yeah,
I look at that as, what is this person showing me about myself that I may not
mhm,
like about myself, that I need to
yeah.
find out what it is about me, this person. I need to know this person better, right? And then
But energy is
also,
real.
can, it
Is
is, and
real. And
people,
I tell
but
people all the time, because people
yeah,
think, oh, that's woo woo or whatever. I'm
no,
like,
no,
no, no, no,
no,
no, no.
no.
You can call it
But let me
whatever you
ask you
want. You
this.
can call it, aura or whatever. But you guys all know, and every single person that's listening can think of a time where they're somewhere and someone walks into a room and you feel it. You can't put your finger on it, but you feel it. It either the energy in the room shifts where it's either, oh my goodness, or oh my, the life of the person comes in and just lights it up. And you're just like, oh my God, there are certain people that have a certain energy that they're like, a flame, and moths are just drawn to it because they have that energy. And there's other people repel people away from them. And they could really honestly think that they're kind and generous people, but for some reason, but again, that gets back to how you show up in the world. And that gets back to, your intentionality, your mindset, and again, how you orientate yourself to the world. Are you leaning more negative or positive? People feel that. They can feel your energy, and you can absorb. And there's some people who are empaths. I'm not an empath, but there are people who really absorb other people's energy, and they can't, if they don't know how, they can't shake it. So then they get brought down because they're around people who are brought down, which is why people always say it's important who you associate with and hang around. 100%. And there's all kinds of things for that. Birds of a feather flock together. But the bottom line is that if you are around people with positive energy all the time, you're gonna have positive energy. It's like, if I want to be successful and to be around successful people, I can't be around people who aren't doing much for themselves. You know why? Because successful people have habits, have certain, things that they do. There's a reason why they're successful, not just because, they just happen to be lucky. No, right? And they also exude a certain energy, right? And that's where that whole, again, the flow, the abundance, all that happens. And so, when you are around people with that certain energy, you're going to, it's going to attract, right? And you're going to have that as well. And that's the same on the negative side, which is why you can't be around people who are constantly talking negative about other people or constantly having that negativity around them. That will come off on you. And the people who are empaths, it really affects because they hold on to other people's energy.
We got you, Melanie. You have a launch coming up, so I just want to touch on that real quick.
Yes, thank you for stopping and okay. Yes, I do have a launch coming up.
We can talk all day and all, but definitely tell us about
exactly. Well, there's a few things. One, I just want to let people know I basically create journals, coloring books. I call it the coloring journey because it's adult coloring books because that really does help. For people, their mindset and everything, especially if you've had a really stressful day, sometimes just, whipping out something, coloring it, creating, that's really good for you. But journals are wonderful for many reasons, not only just to get down on paper things that you want to do, right? Because a lot of times we have to write. It helps, with our brain to, write down things that we want to do that are important to us so that we can go back and read them. But also just to remind ourselves, what are you grateful for? What made you smile today? Those types of things. So I have more than those two, but I have plenty of those. And that's at my website. If you go to my website, and that's positivelymelanie.com, I have a digital shop and it has all of those tools. There's tons of mindfulness tools there. I have a companion collection that goes with the tools that I've created. So the companion collection are all the other things, right? The nice warm blankets and the candles and all those other things, right? That help your whole overall experience. You're using these tools. And the program that Big Jack was talking about is in January, I am launching the Circle of 8. So it's going to be only 8 women. And we're going to touch on those 8 dimensions of wellness, or those 8 life dimensions. And we're going to really delve deep. It's a 12-week program that's really going to do some soul work so that we can get aligned in those life dimensions. So it's launching in January. And so if you go again to my website, and you'll see on there the Circle of 8, and then join the wait list so you can learn more. So hope everybody go to it.
No, we definitely appreciate you talking about that and even inviting us to come and view it. So I'm already taking it's going to be recorded, and we can actually watch if we miss any episodes of the 12 weeks. that we can
Yeah.
come back and watch it over. Okay, all right. So thank you for sure for all of that, and wishing you well in your journey. And he says it's going to kick off in January 2026.
It'll kick off in January. And for those of you who are like, look, I don't know if I can commit 12 weeks. I do one-on-one sessions. So I do have, it's called a soul alignment series. And so I have where I do one-on-ones with people. I also, there's smaller bites instead of the 12-week deep soul work, but it still is getting aligned with those life dimensions. And it's called soul alignment. And that's also on the website as well.
Gotcha. All right. All right. All right. Well, is there anything else on your mind? I mean,
I appreciate you giving me great holiday gift ideas. I will be on your site to make
Thank
sure.
you. Yes. There's seriously
that's a pretty
candles
good
and
gift.
scents and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that because that's just something that just I mean, it just makes sense. So I would definitely, that's a no-brainer right there. So I appreciate that for sure, 100%. I will be giving away journals and coloring books and candles and all that kind of good stuff. So
yeah, we can
that's
start
great.
the new year. It's for all of the women in your life, so that you know what, they can start 2026 off right.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So and then I can see how much aggravation I caused them to write about me. So that's cool. That'll be good. That'll be good. That's that self-awareness piece. That'll be great. I got one last question for you. One last question.
Okay.
Can you explain the difference between someone challenging your ideas and someone putting you down? Like if you have an idea and I challenge your thinking, in my mind, and that's where the fun starts. When you, like in my profession, you plan. And then the first thing you do after you make this plan is try your best to break it. So when you come up with an idea and people, not you, but people's ideas of thinking is challenged, they take that as a personal attack, when sometimes people may just be giving you a different perspective to see, okay, consider this. Maybe not, you don't have to do that, but just have you considered this? Do you get a lot of that in your profession, or how do you deal with that in your job?
I probably get a lot of it, and it's how, again, for me, it's how you're coming to the situation or how you're coming to the conversation. And so I'm always coming to a conversation where my assumption is going to lean positive. So my assumption is that if I have a idea and Walt, you're like, you know what? That sounds good, but have you thought about it this way? I'm not going to automatically, oh, he's attacking me, or what, he thinks that he knows something better than me. No, I'm going to listen to what you have to say, and I'll have follow-up questions, because those questions will help me to determine, what you're saying, maybe I should take that into consideration, or it may help to validate for me and reaffirm, no, I think that the way that I'm doing it is good for me. That doesn't mean that his ideas or suggestions aren't good. They're just not good for me. So I think, again, it gets back to how you show up, how you orientate yourself into the world. And when I say, there's probably tons of people who challenge me all the time, I don't ever take it personally unless it's meant to be personal. And when
it's personal.
Right? But for the most part, if someone is just challenging me, that's a good thing. I want to be challenged, because again, and actually I'm a big proponent of collaboration. Good things, the best things come out of multiple people getting into a room, diversity. That means diverse in mind, in thought, in background, in all of that coming together and having brain swarms. I like brain swarm instead of brainstorm. Brain swarms. You're swarming these ideas around, and you're collaborating. You usually come out with some really good stuff, and you can't really collaborate if there's not some push. If there's not some push and pull, if there's not some, as you said, the ironing, sharpening iron. I mean, you've got to have that friction in order to build something, right? And so that's, it just comes back to, you don't take things personally, because you're orientating yourself to the world on a more positive note.
Right. I'm just asking you to like, hey, like what you said about your journals and all of that, you explained, because when I go tell people about this, basically I'm just asking you, so tell me about the journals, what you did. You did a great job at that. So now I can go and sell your product. I just can't say, well, she was on the show. She was a nice lady, man. You ought to get this thing. I mean, like, you explained your point, and a lot of times that question right there, like, how does that work? Explain that to me. And then, because I'm not a journaler, right? But I've heard you
Right.
talk
Yeah.
about journaling twice, and I may even step into that world and put my thoughts on paper. I may, but I've never been that guy. I never have. But the way
And you
you
know what?
explain it is very
Yes.
different from the way it's usually explained. So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And here's the thing:
Okay.
women didn't tend to like to
Mhm.
write things down, but
I heard about
journaling
that.
doesn't necessarily need to be you write on paper. I have
Mhm.
journals, and I like having journals and putting things in them and writing them with different color pens because I'm a very creative person. Some people, maybe what's best is to talk into their phone on notes. And like,
Notes.
you know what,
There you
today I
go.
was really grateful for blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how you do it. It's the exercise of making sure that you are speaking out loud, writing down on paper. You are acknowledging what you're great. And I'm just using a gratitude journal.
Understand.
There's
Mhm.
many journals, but like you're
Mhm.
writing down on paper every single day, or speaking it, or even thinking. If you're like, look, I don't want to, every single day of why you are grateful, then you will start to realize your mind will have a mini shift, and you will realize that no matter what is going on in your life in a negative way, or disappointment, or whatever's happening to you where you feel down and out and whatever, or less than, which you should never do, but less than, it
Mhm.
reminds you that, hey, I woke up today. Here's a little win. We have thousands of little wins every single day. And a lot of times they get overlooked because the one bad, like, oh, I
Right.
didn't get what I wanted to get, or, somebody cut me off in traffic, or, you know what, I didn't get that raise that I thought I was going to get. And the little wins get brushed aside. And so even if you woke up this morning we're alive. Hey, there's plenty of people who did not wake up this morning, right?
Yeah.
So we need to be grateful for that. We need to be
Melanie.
grateful if we have a roof over our head, right? There's a lot of
Yes.
people, well,
Yes.
just a while ago, a lot of people were not getting paid for jobs they were working, right? You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, we
Right.
need to look at, like, what do we have? And then if we start looking at the things we have, again, that gets into alignment of being, then we're going to stop comparing, stop, what we don't have, and focus on what we
Mhm.
don't have. That's all of that is negative, and that helps that negative energy to keep swirling around you, and then you're going to start leaning negative.
Thank you, Melanie. I appreciate that. You were great. I appreciate it, Jack. I appreciate your patience. She has given me a lot of information. So thank you.
No, and
Thank you,
Melanie,
guys.
we thank you again. It's hard to believe we definitely 1 hour and 7 minutes into this thing.
Oh
And
my gosh.
yeah,
Yes.
out the park. So it was a great conversation and a lot of
Mhm.
wisdom and understanding. Definitely thank you for being a guest on the Iron Sharpening Iron show. I definitely feel stronger and more sharper than I was before it started today, and more positive thinking mindset about the things I go through and the things that we face. So we truly thank you for being a guest on the show and bringing your positivity with you and all that you do. And some of the things that you said really touched a lot. But one of the big things I wanted to share, and I'm sharing with all of those who are watching out there as well. That you were saying that you were trained to do it, but not only were you school trained or went through and got certifications and certificates and all, but you also lived it, and that's where a lot of people miss the big thing. It's like you lived it, and because you lived it, I can tell you, this is what I went through. This is what I face, and you can come out of this. You don't have to stay in that hole forever. So I appreciate that because a lot of times I was a foster parent. And I remember having a lot of caseworkers come to my house, and one of the things we always ask them, "Do you have kids?" And they be like, "No." So you only know this by the book. You don't even know
Right.
about raising kids, but you know what the book told you. And based on the book, you should be doing this. And I'm like, "You never raised a kid, have you?" And like, "No, I don't have any kids." Like, okay, I fully understand. Not a problem. But and that's where a lot of times we miss. But it doesn't make it any less of meaningful. And I think y'all hit on a lot of good points today that we take for granted. And sometimes, like I say, and that's why I threw the questions out there. What if you didn't know that you needed the water? What if you didn't know you needed the help? And you say, yeah, but I know when they tell you once you get thirsty, you're late. So it's like you need water, but if you wait till you're thirsty, you're late. So sometimes you don't know that you should know, like you need water. Yeah, but I didn't get none until I was thirsty, and now I'm past that limit. Now I'm dehydrated. Now I'm going through. So those are the things that I start thinking that we can assume that you already know. I remember in my pastoring days, so I'm pastoring the church, and I say, "Well, the Bible says," and a lot of people are like, "I didn't know.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I didn't know that was a scripture."
You know that.
Yeah, you know that, but they didn't know that. To the point that if I say something, well, the Bible say cleanliness is next to godliness, and all I can say is what scripture. It's not in there. So that's just something we've been saying for years. It's not in there. So because of that, we confuse ourselves a lot. So thank you, Melanie, for being honest.
Thank you.
And open, and even helping a lot of people, even if it's just women. We understand. I'm joking.
Whoa,
I'm joking.
whoa, easy. Pineapples, man. Pineapples. Take them out, man. Hey, man.
Oh, no,
Melanie, hey, Slim, I'm trying to keep you out of HR, man. I'm trying to keep you out of HR.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, like I said, hey, you know what? If there are men out there that go with my vibe, because I do also have a very aesthetic boho vibe. You know what? If you guys don't mind the girliness, then it's all good. Man. But a lot of the things that I do talk about and I do teach, like I said, is not gender specific. It's just that that's who I focus on right now. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm a positive living facilitator. So it's all about positive living, and I help people to recognize how to live this way with all of the things that I do. So that's why I just say that. But I mean,
I was joking, 100% joking, but I can tell by just talking with you that if I came to you, you could help me just
absolutely. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
So I like to keep it light and like have some fun with it.
That's what makes it so funny, because I know he was joking.
100%. But we want to thank everyone.
Here's the thing: if my website doesn't scare you as a man, like you go to my website, people have been on my website, women love it. But if you go to my website and doesn't scare you off, then by all means, okay, because it's very girly. So
I get your daily emails and the newsletter.
Man.
I'm not afraid.
Oh well, yeah. Okay, so yeah, if my soul shine, because that's my newsletter, y'all. If my soul shine and the things that I say in my soul shine, which I do affirmations, I have poetry and whatever. If that resonates with you, because you can think of a woman in your life or somebody in your life that then that connects with, and you like that, then hey, come vibe with me. If you're a man, I don't care. That's good.
It doesn't matter, right there. So I want to thank everybody who tuned in to watch the Iron Sharpening Iron show. I want to thank Melanie for being a wonderful guest on Melanie. She is already a Hall of Famer, but she just came back out again, to show us her another side, but a brighter side and a more positive side to everything. This was great. You'll be back. I think she'll be a wonderful asset to the Battle of the Sexes stage one day. So we'll get her out here one day.
Absolutely.
But with all that being said, we thank you all. And remember, we are now on School, SKOOL. The universe is moving out there, and we're putting new products out. So we're still building that network or that stage out there. So, but we're growing. And if you want to be a member of that and want to be a part of that community, you're more than welcome. It is free. It doesn't cost you anything. But we thank you for tuning in to the Iron Sharpening Iron show. Tune in for Wednesday will be the Battle of the Sexes. It will be just before Thanksgiving, so I can only imagine this one. But with all that being said, we thank you. We ask you all to take care of yourself and be ready. If we don't see you, have a happy holiday. And we definitely wish you all, have a good time. Be thankful for just, what you have and what you could provide for others and all of those good things. But until then, we ask you to stay sharp, and we'll talk to you later. Melanie, please hang over a little bit for us, please. Thank you. Okay. All right. Good night. I can't find the button.
I'm not touching anything. My hands are here.